and Facebook. How you doing, Scarpad? Scarpad's domain with another Got Issues. Lynk and Scarpad. We certainly do. We always will. And tonight we're doing a comic from Marvel Comics and Ed Brisson. It's the first series of it, Predator. And to join me talking about the Predator, it's Lynk. How's it going, Lynk?
What up?
Hey, how's it been? How's it hanging?
Hanging pretty low.
It's hanging out. I was just looking a little while ago. I checked on my thing here. I haven't read any Ed Brisson. And yeah, I read a little bit. I guess he's doing the Batman Incorporated run now, which I understand is really good, from what I understand. Other than that, I did read some of his Batman and Robin Eternal, I think, back a few years ago. He's done like Age of X-Men. He's done Old Man Logan.
Yeah, he did some X-Men stuff.
And a lot of Marvel stuff. I think he did a RoboCop series for them.
Oh, badass.
A while back, and so I wanted to check out this series, so I figured we'd check this out. This is the first go around. They have another series out now.
I was just catching up on that today. Actually, I finished volume 1 yesterday, and I was it's cool the idea where they're going with it. But yeah, I was just getting it's 3 issues out so far for volume 2.
Yeah, I figure I'm gonna probably hold off doing those until it's almost done. I think I'll read them. But this book does. It's interesting now. They fully embrace Predator lore because right in the beginning of the book, they go through and tell you the backstory and all the movies so far. So you get the original, you get the Danny Glover, you get the one with Adrian Brody, you get even the 2018 one that not too many people like. You get that.
So it's cool how they incorporated all that.
Right.
I mean, you don't get too many references of it in this run, but they do acknowledge it.
Yeah, it does tell you that they're embracing, and this is part of canon, I guess.
Right.
So this starts off in 2056 on a planet where 2 predators are fighting, and we find out that one of the predators is human, or humanoid. I'm not sure if I guess they are from Earth. I'm not really sure. I guess they are. It's not really stated whether these people are from Earth or not.
Oh, what do you? I got the assumption they're all from Earth. They were like the colonizers from like Prometheus and Alien and shit like that.
Yeah. So we basically get a flashback after that to 2041, where it basically shows how the main character, whose name is Theta, arrived at the situation she's in now, where her parents gets killed on the on the colony, and she starts off on like a 15-year run of avenging a parent's death. Pretty simple story, not a lot to it.
It is a revenge story at the core,
story. And we find out that she's basically killed, I think, 26 predators with the aid, of course, of the predators' weapons and the predators' armor.
But I mean, she had to, how'd she get the first? She did have the aid of the armor, but how'd she get the first set of armor? She had to share in that.
Exactly. So, she's an ass kicker when it comes to killing predators. So, basically now, when we fast forward, she's on the ship that was left on the colony. The ship has an AI named Sandy, or the ship's called Sandy, I think.
Sandy, yeah.
And Sandy has kind of that vibe of, almost like that movie Battle Beyond the Stars that we watched with the woman computer helping that character. It's kind of like that kind of that type of relationship,
personality, yeah.
And she's being hunted now by the predators because she's killed 27 of them. And I do like the way they set up the idea that you kind of buy into that. Normally, as we've seen in any other past example, the predators are pretty much solitary hunters. That's what they do. They hunt as skill as warriors. They don't combine their forces. They don't help each other. They don't combine. But in this case, they are because they have a common enemy, I guess, and they're coming after.
Have you seen the 2010 one? Predators.
Predator
Had Adrian Brody in it. They were on the.
Yeah.
That one kind of showed they
I guess a little bit
hunted in packs a little bit, but the comic kind of
negates that a little
yeah,
bit.
Yeah.
I
Until the
mean
second bite.
that movie's acknowledged, but it's not really there's not a lot from it. But so basically, we get her adventures in space, and after she crash lands to fight the aliens, she does finally find the one that killed her parents, the one with the messed up mandible.
Only 3 mandibles, yeah.
3 mandibles.
The missing mandible.
I thought the artwork in this book was fantastic. I mean, there's some panels in it. I mean, we can show, as I said, this is the
Kev Walker's the artist.
Okay, yeah. I was going to say Kev Walker, Frank Diamata is the inker. But there's
I think the cover is Lionel Francis Yu.
Okay. But there is a where's the show here? Let me just get this down here so I can show it here. Yeah, here we go. There's a panel in this. See if I can bring it up here. I think it's in issue 6, but I mean they do a pretty good job. I screwed it up.
It's kind of like got the Ryan Otley effect where it's cartoony, but it's very bloody and gory. Mm-hmm. But it fits. The predators seem very visceral and animated. He's good. I will say Kev Walker's good when it comes to like out there looking creatures or designs.
Yeah, there's a panel here. I mean, especially let's see if I can find it. I mean, this is done very well. Yeah, where she has the helmet. But the one I'm talking about is
that the cover you're looking at where she's got the helmet?
I believe, yeah.
Yeah, that's the Lionel Francis Yu, but yeah.
But even the artwork itself does.
No, the artwork's great. It's very fitting.
Yeah, I do love the cover here. I do love the. Well, I'm assuming this. I don't know if this was the original cover of that. I love that close up on the predator.
Oh yeah.
But it's done pretty well. The only part of the thing I didn't like a lot was when we get into the other ship from Earth arriving, and then of course they arrest her, accuse her of murder, and then you get that captain. That's all kind of cliched. We've kind of seen that before in the past where they come down and they blame her for everything, and then of course she turns around and offers to help them, and then of course the ship blows up. But this was
they knew that she was innocent. They acknowledged that, but they said the fact that she had been with a missing ship that was owned by their company, right, and all the research she had conducted on that ship was technically owned by them since it was done on their premises, and they were keeping her captive because they wanted the information she had.
Mm-hmm. So this is the first time reading. Is this the first time you read any of the Predators stuff, or did you read any of the Dark Horse stuff back in the day?
What was it? Maybe like 2018, 2017. There was an Alien versus yes, this is like the first time, but there was an Alien versus Predator miniseries. I think it was. I cannot remember the little subtitle.
Yeah, I know. I read back in the day. I read they did a Batman versus Predator. That was pretty good.
I've always heard of that one. I'm aware of that one. I think Andy Kubert. It might be Adam. Mm. But yeah, I've never read that one. I should. But yeah, this was my first Predator series I've read in its entirety.
Okay. So what was your impressions of the writing and the artwork then?
I enjoyed it. It was a straight up solid enough revenge story. The character was believable. I like that it pulled from all the different movies, and it's like trying to amalgamate or them into like something cohesive. Uh, the artwork, yeah, I really like the artwork. I'm a big fan of Kev Walker. I think he does really good, like when it comes to like, because he worked on a Star Wars book, Dr. Aphra, for a few years. He also did a dope run of Thunderbolts with Jeff Parker. He had some like interesting. The way he makes people look is very cartoony, but it's very There's always going to be some blood or something really gnarly, not too gnarly with Kev Walker. Like you said, there's not too much to the story, but I think it was a solid setup. And like, I was talking about it with Fable earlier, that this would be, the idea of it would make for like a cool movie. They've already done Prey, so what if like the next one's some chick in space? And I didn't think of it at first, but like the whole idea of her in like the Predator suit and stuff, that kind of threw me off initially. But then I was like, they kind of had that in the 2018 one, so it's like they were pulling from a lot of different.
The only thing I wondered, did she scalp one? Because normally the dreadlocks are part of the character; they're not part of the helmet, I don't believe. And her helmet had dreadlocks.
That's
true. Maybe she grabbed some dreads and put them in there. I don't know, some alien dreads, so it looks more.
I mean, she had 27 different predators to pick and choose from. So, but that is true. I did find that I did question that a bit. I was like, how did she find one where the armor fits her? They're all pretty
bulky,
tall in stature.
Well, I think most of them she's gonna fit into anything. Whether she should be kind of loose in them, and you're right, but she could always, that's a little.
I mean, these are just small, minor things. I mean, picking holes at it, but for the most part, straight up revenge stories set within the Predator universe is pretty cool. And it was a nice basis for things to spiral out of. Like I said, the second series, I was reading it today, and it's kind of.
Does it continue the plot of this? Does it go on?
It takes place 5 years later, but Theta and the scientists are still like the main characters. But this one is tying into the Predators movie where they're on the planet with a habitat and stuff like that with the different killers. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, the last issue actually ended with quite a shocker. But yeah, it was a fun little run. One of my first gripes with this a little bit, this volume 1, was that I thought it was going to be like a series about where we learn more about the Predator lore, and but it was kind of it was from a human's perspective, and it usually is within the Alien Predator universe. But it seems like they might go a little bit deeper as the series goes on.
I hope they do, because there's not a lot other than beyond what they do. They hunt,
right?
But they've shown, like, NECA has come out. NECA's made a cottage industry of bringing out Predator figures,
right?
And they've really gone all out and showed every type of imaginable Predator. And I hope we get that here too, because they're not all alike. There's a lot of different versions of them on their look and stuff. Yep. And I hope they kind of get into that a little bit more and kind of bring that into the story and use that as more of a hindrance for her to deal with these things, because they all could have their little quirks, they all could have their little strengths and weaknesses.
Like maybe certain, some of them are better with long form combat, long range combat, as opposed to like being brutal.
Oh, they all hunters. I mean, it was interesting back in one of the episodes of Star Trek: The Next Generation, we actually go down to a Klingon's planet, and we find out that not all the Klingons are warriors. There's a general population there too.
And some of them are just peaceful.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I wouldn't say none of them are peaceful, because they are Klingons, but they're not all warriors fighting on a ship. I mean, every society needs doctors. Not men that Klingons, they just let them die, but they need other trades and other people. And I hope we get a little bit of that here as well. Not all races can be just true villains. I think even one of the comics back in the day when Dark Horse had it, they had like Predator dogs and Predator wildlife. So we might get a little bit of that here, and that would be good to kind of expand.
They mentioned that in the second series. They don't show them, but they do say, like, one of the people is like, because they see some other creature and they're finding out like they're not the only thing on the preserved planet. Like there's different alien creatures that they've captured and on the preserved planet as well. He says, is this one of theirs? And he's like, I don't think so. I've seen them with like some dog-like creatures before, but
Right.
never anything like this. So
Yeah. Yeah, they've shown the dogs. All right, let's just see who's in the chat. Hey, Blood Splatter Chat. I guess there's going to
I
be a
know
show after ours at 9:00 with Lynk that they're going to be talking about. What you guys talking about tonight?
Brandon Cronenberg's first theatrical debut, I think. Shivers.
Okay, actually, it was his father. That was David Cronenberg.
Yeah, David Cronenberg.
There won't be any dicks in this one, unlike Brandon. But yeah, Shivers. I remember that movie. Good flick. Let's see, Perry. How you doing, Perry? Good to see you in there. Thank you for coming in. Yes, it is Kolchak the Night Stalker, Gold Key. Very good. Kenneth, hey, great to see you in here tonight. How you doing? Sal, how you doing? Great to be having here. Bobby, as usual. Fire the beer. Yeah, absolutely. I would say definitely his writing style I like, and it's going to be interesting to see how he does on Batman Incorporated. Not always a title I've liked because it gets into the whole Batman family thing, and I don't know, some of
I
it can
will
be kind of
say,
convoluted, but it'd be interesting to
I
see how he
was
handles it.
speaking to go back with his writing style. Like I was a little hesitant, trepidatious coming into this because previous things I've read of Brisson's I've not really enjoyed. I didn't really read too much of his Old Man Logan, but I've read some of his X-Men stuff, and I never much of a fan of it. I've seen him. My best experiences with him have been like his indie work. I've read a few indie titles he's done. But I have wanted to check out Batman Inc. I like the concept. I think Grant Morrison introduced that concept,
Yeah.
but I've always thought it was cool, and so
Yeah, it changes every time they get a new. Cause like now, Ghostmaker
sure.
is the big thing. So Makers is always, and I get Ghostmakers always, isn't it? But it should be interesting, and I understand it's a very good take on it. So I want to read that. As far as characters in this book, and who did you enjoy for overall? Who do you think was written well, and who did you enjoy as a character?
There's only like Sandy, Theta, and the scientist dude at the end, Paolo, but he's like comes in like issue 5 or 6.
Right.
So I'll give it to
there's Predators. Not a lot of different like the Predators. Which Predator was your favorite?
The one with the missing mandible, because he didn't get got.
The main guy, the main villain.
Yes, sir. But Theta was she was a cool, strong enough debut character. Like I'm invested and curious enough to see where her journey ends.
Yeah, I mean it's tough because you want to make her strong enough so it's believable that she could take on the same dudes that Arnold and Danny Glover took on and survive. You also want to make her not like another Ripley, because that's a trap you could fall into. Everybody can be Ripley.
I think she's got her own little swagger. She's not she's a little bit more gruff and brass, I guess, than Ripley. But she's quick-witted. She's got her own little flavor. I think she had a nice little debut. They're culling from a lot of things. She's kind of got the military background, not really military, but she's a fighter like Arnold is. She's doing her little detective work and tracking the predators down, a la Danny Glover. So she's got a nice little of everything to make her own character.
Yeah, and I do like the fact that I lost my train of thought. No, I do like. I know. I do like the fact that they're gonna go beyond the revenge stuff maybe a little bit. I'm very glad to hear that the next one there's a time jump, because I'm glad that it's not just more of this in the next series, and it takes up right from the get-go. So they have time to kind of maneuver and maybe explore what's happened in that 5 years, how she's changed. Bring in some other characters. So I'm interested to see where that's going to go. I mean, right now Marvel seems to be doing well with the Alien franchise and
I
franchise.
even hear the Planet of the Apes stuff is pretty good. I've
Yeah,
been
I
meaning
haven't,
to
I
check
haven't, I
that
haven't
out.
read that yet. I mean, that's kind of more on based on I think the newer stuff than the older stuff. I think it's kind of
Okay,
I think it's kind of a
a
melding.
mesh.
It's kind of a mesh of the two. So that could be interesting to see where that goes.
I mean,
But
I actually this is a side note, but the later trilogy, whatever you want to call it, for the Planet movies was pretty solid.
oh, they were, yeah, they were definitely. I mean, the remakes were all good, so I have no problem with either way they go. I loved the one with Tim Roth. Tim Roth was in the
That was
David.
Tim Burton,
Yeah, but he
the
was
Tim
good.
Burton
That
one.
Tim Roth was
No, he
really
was.
good. He
Yeah,
was
they
the
had a
best part
great
of that movie.
cast. Yeah,
That
yeah,
movie
he was
gets
sinister.
that movie is slammed. The ending is poor in that movie, I think, and that's what kind of sinks it.
Yeah.
But it wasn't too bad
No,
overall.
I enjoy the Mark Wahlberg one actually,
And
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 they
Ti- and,
do
and Tim Roth was just so good in it.
that. Michael Clark Duncan was dope in it. Paul Giamatti.
Yeah.
No, they Tim Roth doesn't get enough credit. I actually like Tim Roth a lot. He's always fun on screen. You ever
And
seen Lie to Me?
yes, Lie to Me was a great show.
Yeah.
And you forget the man, Chuck Heston there, who said, "Get your hands up, you damn dirty human."
Was he in the Tim Burton one?
Yeah, he was. He was playing the old ape, the one that tells the human to
No
go.
way.
That's one of his last appearances. They
I'm gonna have
slept
to
him
go
in,
back and
slept
watch
him in
that.
there. Yeah,
No,
but
but I was gonna say they do reference the Mark Wahlberg one in the James Franco, so it's like there's still love for the Tim Burton
do
one,
they? I
even
have to
though
go back and rewatch that whole trilogy. But yeah, I mean, I think Marvel seems to be getting back into the IP properties game. Taking some of these away from Dark Horse. They got
gave
I mean,
right back.
with Star Wars now,
They're sharing
and
Star Wars though with Dark Horse,
but
certain
I don't think they are
properties.
anymore.
Yeah, no, they're I could have
Well, I
sworn
know they have those kid books. They have like the IDW had like the kid versions of Star Wars. I
yeah, I
didn't.
think they left IDW and it's
Yeah.
that brand is over at Dark Horse now.
Oh, is it okay? But yeah, they've been doing some pretty good work with Star Wars and Marvel, and so far they've been doing the properties pretty well.
Yeah,
Uh, and we'll see if IDW goes under, which is a possibility. They may steal back GI Joe and Star Trek and a whole bunch of other stuff.
no, GI Joe's over at Image now. That's
Oh,
that
is it?
whole
Okay,
yeah
okay,
Star Transformers and GI Joe is
yeah, yeah, yeah. They were, but Marvel's smart because they know that you can't do all licensed properties. I think that's IDW's problem is they'd have too much of that stuff and not
yeah
enough and
too
not
many.
enough of their own stuff. And you can't just survive because the fees are astronomical. So,
Yeah,
but I would say
no,
definitely say reading this, I'm happy to see you continued on. It must have interested you enough to read the next volume
oh
or the
yeah,
next three
yeah.
issues. Actually, it's ongoing. I think it's gonna be 6 again, right?
Yeah, I was confused because when I was talking about this with Fable, he was like, "Which one?" And I was like, "The Predator one from Marvel." But the second volume is just called Predator, but it's just reissued. Marvel, you got to stop doing that.
What did they do?
So it's pretty much the first volume was 1 through 6
Right,
called Predator. The second
right.
volume is called Predator, and so it's just like I'm like
Yeah.
I'm reading Predator issue
Well,
2, and
that's
they're
the
like,
thing I
"Well,
noticed too. I mean, why is this a volume 1? It's over.
right."
It's a trade of the 6 series limited series because it gets confusing.
Right.
I guess the next one will be volume 2. I guess, but it
But
doesn't
they
make a
should.
lot of
That's what I'm
sense.
saying. It should have just kept going with
Yeah,
Predator
I
issue
don't know.
7, 8.
I don't know why they do that. Maybe it's something to do with they think people because it's limited series is gonna, but they do that a
But
lot.
then if you go back, if someone's trying to read this years from now, and they're like, "We'll start off at the Predator
But Marvel's terrible with
2000."
this. This week they just came out with Black Panther #1. Wasn't there a Black Panther #1 not too long ago? I mean, it's like this
They
they
might
got
have.
#1-itis at Marvel. They keep on coming out with #1s every
No,
week.
Black Panther might have. I think he's kind of his series ended maybe 2020 20. No, you know what? There was a Black Panther series not too long ago because I remember everyone's hyped for his son.
Yeah,
It was like last year.
#1 just came out again. So
Yeah, Marvel.
They know not number ones. It does work.
But that's like a quick
Right.
resurgence in money. It's BS.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's just what they do. So yeah, you're right. I mean,
Yeah,
and they're doing
yeah.
the same thing. They did the same thing with Alien. Alien's been through that too. They've had, I think they're on their third series now. The new one that's out now is a third Alien series
Oh
of 6
yeah,
issues,
right.
and it does get
I
confusing
think
because
the
you try to think to
first,
yourself, what did I read? Did I read the
right,
first one? Did I read the second? What did I read? I don't
right,
remember what I
and
read.
so when someone goes back and if this is like a listing on Wikipedia, they're gonna be like Volume 1, 2023, Predator issue 1 through 6, Volume 2,
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
2023. It's confusing.
Now, Sal
But
says Marvel will have
yeah,
Predator fighting some of the Marvel heroes. Have you heard that?
Wolverine. They announced that like
Is he gonna
last week,
fight
maybe 2 weeks
Wolverine?
ago. Wolverine versus Predator series. Yeah, and it's gonna
Okay.
be throughout different eras since they both have longevity, lifespans. That I'm assuming
Yeah, I mean
something
Wolverine
might take
should be
place
able
in
to.
like.
I mean Wolverine basically is indestructible. He can't die. He heals up, so he should be able to kill a Predator. I
Yeah,
would
I'm
think.
feeling like that's how it's gonna play out. I believe that's how it played it. They did something in I forget what it's called, but they used to do like live action fights. Maybe it'd be like Green Ranger versus Ryu or Luke Kane versus fucking Wolverine. Just I don't think that was one of them, but they do these matches, and one of them was Wolverine versus the Predator. It
Those
was
things.
pretty
Do you
dope.
remember? You were probably pretty young, uh, but do you remember those things MTVs used to do? Those celebrity
Celebrity
fights.
death fights,
Yeah, death
celebrity
fight.
death match. Yeah, yeah,
There's a few of those on there too, with like Wolverine.
that'd be dope. Yeah, claymation style, even with the action
um,
figures. Someone edited it well. But
but
yeah, I do want to check that out. That it's the artists on it don't sound too promising, but some of them,
yeah,
I'll give it a chance.
the Hulk obviously could beat him. The one that would make sense,
Oh, the Hulk would.
if you'd ask me who would make sense to do it, would probably be Daredevil, especially since it's in New York, Hell's
Oh, and
Kitchen.
they both got, yeah, that'd be a
Bring
fun
that
one.
into bring that into the Hell's Kitchen there.
That'd be
Daredevil
like a
would make
good
a lot of
homage to
sense.
two, Predator 2. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that'd be dope. And it wouldn't be like, yeah, like you said, it'd be a good fight because Wolverine's got a healing factor. He's got razor sharp claws that cut through anything. He's got an edge to him where Matt Murdock would have to really, have to
right.
be true grit.
Yeah. Oh, the Punisher, another one that would do well.
I think they did a Punisher versus Predator series,
They
didn't
may
they?
have. They may have. Yeah.
But I haven't
Long,
read
long,
it. But
long
that
time
would be a
ago.
good one to see. Yeah.
Back in the day when they used to do everything versus everything, Spawn versus Batman and all that stuff. So overall, I guess final thoughts and your rating there. How did you feel overall in the book and rating it based on? Are we giving letter grades now? Yeah, we're giving letter
Yeah,
grades.
yeah. We started with
We're
letter grades
stealing
last
that
week.
from Verno. We
Yeah.
stole that from Dylan. So
I'll
what
give this
A through what D? Say A through D.
F.
Yeah. All right.
Wait, a D works. Yeah. I'll give um. I'll give my final thoughts first. Good, solid entry point. To the Predator series and trying to make it like a cohesive universe. I like that it pulled from all the movies, it borrowed bits, and gave a lot of homages to that. Um, Theta was a cool debut character. I liked her relationship with Sandy. She's badass in her Predator gear. I look forward to seeing more of her. And with that being said, it was just a simple revenge story that's
Yeah, it was an
fun, sci-fi
entertaining read, I
revenge
think.
story. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a solid B.
Okay.
It's nothing, it's nothing that's gonna change my life. Not that it needs to every time I read something, but I had a good time reading it. I don't regret reading it. It was fun. If you're a fan of like, if you're not like a hardcore fan of like Predator or something, you don't know all the mythos like myself, like this is still something you can dive into and still understand what's going on.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to give it a B also. I mean, I think I would have liked to see maybe take a little bit more of a risk with the
Yeah,
story. But if this simple story leads into a
bigger
better,
things.
more in-depth story, then I'm kind of cool with that too. I mean,
Yeah,
um, of
well said.
course, you can only judge it by what it is, and Marvel's telling us that this story we read is over with. So before I move down to the next one. So if you're judging it like that, well, the ending is a little bit more,
cheesy,
not cheesy so much, but
generic.
it just kind of ends.
Yeah.
If this was going to be no more of her character, she got the revenge and the story's over with.
Right.
But still, they did that basic story well. So I'm going to give them a B. The artwork was good. It was a good read. It didn't bore me.
Right.
It wasn't the quickest. It did have some words, but not too many.
Right. Yeah. That's always important.
So I'd say a good solid B, and maybe the next one will hopefully improve and be a B plus or more. But I like reading some of these tie-in books. They're entertaining. It's a good break from some of the other stuff that's out there, as long as they're done well.
It's a good way to expand knowledge on movie properties that, because I know a lot of movie properties have like novelizations, but some people need pictures sometimes, and this is a good way of balancing both worlds. So
yeah, I think this year we got this comic, which is good. We got Prey, which was definitely rejuvenated the series. That character of the girl there was great.
Yep.
So yeah, definitely. I mean, and they're not, they are trying to do something a little bit different than just, bringing in another Arnold Schwarzenegger or another Danny Glover type or Space Marine. So let's hope they kind of continue along that path and the next one don't suck. So B for both of us tonight for Ed Brisson's Predator, Volume 1.
B for Brisson.
And maybe we'll jump back in maybe in a few months and do part 2 when that finishes. Yeah. I'm assuming it's to be another 6-issue run.
Yeah,
they seem to like those.
If I'm a betting man, I would bet on that.
So if you guys get a chance, go ahead and read it. It's available. I picked up a Comixology for less than like $7, Volume 1. So you can pick it up pretty cheap.
It's worth a check out.
It is. So next week is back to Lynk and Lynk's pick. So what do you got for us?
Man, I never mind reading Rick Remender, but I didn't want to lose our momentum. But we're going to be going back to Black Science Volume 2.
Okay, that's good. I don't mind because I want to see what happens in the next chapter.
Yeah, before we forget where we're at and lose that energy, momentum, we'll get back to that.
What I read, but because I'm old and decrepit and dying. But
yeah, we're gonna be switching some things up. I know we've been talking about maybe like doing single issues here or there. I won't be doing all Remender all the time. I'm gonna throw some.
Yeah, I definitely think there'll be some single issues, but they got to be a single issue that we can really dig into because I mean, we're doing 6 issues in less than an hour. One issue that's like we out here in 10 minutes, but yeah, so we'll have to do something that's fairly dense, but who knows? Maybe it'll be something that's really not dense, and Lynk will hate it. I think probably the next thing I do, Lynk will hate. So
I gotta stop.
You can't go with all good stuff. I mean,
I know that's the problem. I've been trying to cull from all these classics and stuff I love, and I've got to start going for some weird stretches that I might like. Scarpetta is like, yo, I'm not reading this shit.
Or even pick something you haven't read. That's what I do a lot of times. I go through my boxes, go, shit, I bought this. Hey, we'll do this one. I haven't read it yet.
I feel like those have been all your picks so far.
Almost. Actually, I wanted to do. I said we're gonna probably do it in because I think it's got 2 more issues left. I wanted to do Phantom Road by Jeff Lemire, but it's got 2 more issues left. So when that finishes up, I think that'll be one of my picks coming up soon because that looks really good. So
check it out.
That's an Image series that's running now. All right, hey, thanks you guys, everybody that came in the chat. Don't forget to stay tuned at 9:00 over on Verno's channel, Blood Splatter Chatter on YouTube, and they're going to be talking about
Shivers
with Lynk.
David Cronenberg's first theatrical debut.
His very first movie. So don't forget to watch that. I think tomorrow night I'll be coming back on with some unboxings and some Vinegar Syndrome stuff. And supposedly Dylan and I are going to get together and talk about a movie we saw today, which of course was The Flash. And no spoilers, but I will say
No, it's
Best
hard.
of the DCU so far, and probably for it because it's pretty much done.
Ooh, those are strong words.
Very strong. So it'd be interesting. We'll talk about some of the stuff I have questions about. So it should be interesting. And then Saturday night for Fable's birthday, we're doing Fly 1 and Fly 2 on Dylan's show. And I'll be back on Monday with my new show. It's going to be Almost Anything. And we're going to be starting off with American Pie, the very first one. So get out
It's
your
called
pie.
Almost Anything?
No, could be reviewing Almost Anything.
Okay. I was going to say that's kind of catchy.
It should be a good one talking about one of Dylan's favorite movies, American Pie. And I'm going to have an actual pie with me, and we'll see what we can do with that. All right, so I want to thank everybody for coming on tonight. Thank you. I tell you, Lynk is going to have to do 2 shows. I don't know how he's going to handle it. More coffee.
Oh,
So
I'll definitely have another cup.
Make sure you watch that, and they're going to be talking about Shivers. And we'll catch you guys this weekend. Don't forget Fly, man. The Fly 1 and the Fly 2. Anything else? Final words?